Boasting of a bold animation style and a catchy soundtrack, Wish was destined to be the big Disney hit for 2023, coinciding with the studio's 100th anniversary celebrations. So with all this in mind, was this going to be the big hit that Disney had wished for? Not exactly. My name is Disney Miss Lizzie, and welcome to today's review. Set in the mythical land of Rosas, Wish opens on 17-year-old Asha, who is preparing for her apprenticeship interview with the beloved sorcerer, King Magnifico. The interview also happens to fall on her grandfather's birthday and the wish-granting ceremony. For in Rosas, whenever a citizen turns 18, a wish is given to King Magnifico to look after before it can be granted. Once a month, a special ceremony is held where the king selects at least one wish to grant. It is a ceremony that Asha and the town love. However, halfway through her interview, Asha discovers a terrible secret. For King Magnifico has become corrupted by power and vanity and is dictating whose wishes are granted, for fearing that, if certain wishes are allowed, the country of Rosas will be put into mortal danger. These also include the wishes of her grandfather, who only wants to play music for the village. Upon discovery, Asha pleads with the king to release the ungranted wishes, but Magnifico refuses, and instead denies Asha not only the apprenticeship, but humiliates her at the wish-granting ceremony. Later that night, after revealing King Magnifico's true intentions to her family, Asha makes a powerful wish, one that shakes Rosas to its core. As a result of that wish, a cute golden star falls from the sky and instantly befriends Asha and her pet goat Valentino. They also grant Valentino the gift of speech, which is voiced by Alan Tudyk, known for King Candy and the Duke of Whistleton. But it wasn't just the country of Rosas that was shaken by the wish, for King Magnifico felt its power too, and turns to darker sources of magic before placing a price on the head of the villager who has disrupted his beloved country, aka Asha. With the aid of Star, Valentino, King Magnifico's wife Queen Amaya, and Asha's 7 friends, she rises up to stop King Magnifico's dictatorship, helping to trap him inside a mirror shard for all eternity. So whilst there are some powerful and key moments in Wish, like the soundtrack, which may have been on repeat since I very first watched it, the film felt lackluster and underdeveloped compared to the more recent Disney blockbusters like Moana, Big Hero 6 and Zootopia. Possibly because it had to compete with these bigger blockbusters, Wish felt more like a cliche rather than a Disney film in its own right, especially when you look at character and plot development. If we look at Asha, for example, she didn't have a distinct personality or traits that were unique to her own. In the end, she felt more like a Moana, Rapunzel and Anna all rolled into one to make this one princess, coming across more of a stereotypical Disney princess rather than a person in her own right. If Asha had been given the grant of sorcery that then had to be harnessed by King Magnifico, who then felt threatened by her, it would have made for a better and more intriguing storyline. Though it may have felt like a predictable narrative, it would have at least given Asha her own purpose, her own drive. It also would have been a cool callback to Snow White, but changing it on its head slightly. So instead of the villain fearing the princess's beauty, the villain now feared her power and intellect. The same can be said for Asha's friends, who are all based on the 7 dwarves with each of their own unique personality traits. But unlike their older counterparts, the friends' unique characteristics did not shine through and were not equally distributed. Even now I struggle to tell who did what other than Dahlia, who is based on Doc. Also, was it me or did they have a similar design to Snow White and the annoying kid from Shrek?
Hear the roar!
In the villains' camp, you have Chris Pine lending his vocals to King Magnifico, and whilst he gives a haunting and emotional performance for At All Costs, the rest can't be said for his performance throughout the film. The directors wanted to go back and give audiences a classic Disney villain whose intentions were revealed very early on, unlike Hans from Frozen or Elmer from Encanto, who either had a redemption arc or whose intentions were revealed in a show-stopping plot twist. And nothing at all came through like that from Chris Pine. Indeed, he doesn't have the persona that one should have for a villain, unlike Maleficent or the evil queen from Snow White or Jafar or Scar. There's just something missing from Chris Pine that I can't quite put a finger on, other than it is a presence that that villain has. You're either rooting for them because you quite like their villainy, or you're so involved in their story that you're rooting for the heroes that yes, come on, defeat them. But King Magnifico just didn't have this presence. Instead, he came across as more of arrogant and annoying. You need to have such a dramatic status when performing a Disney villain. And this is why they work so well and why they've been branched out into a franchise of their own. Sadly, King Magnifico just doesn't hit the bar with that. A similar thing can be said for King Magnifico's wife, Queen Amaya, who doesn't come into her own until the song Knowing What I Know Now, which, for a character who delivers such a powerful and passionate performance during that number, is completely forgettable until that point, and is a hard-to-read character. Whether this was intentional or not, it doesn't come across as anything other than forgettable. During her solo performance for Knowing What I Know Now, she sings of her love for King Magnifico, which was once so profound. However, this passion does not come across until that solo, a song which also arrives towards the end of the film. We do see Queen Amaya displaying her love and affection for King Magnifico. However, these come across as fawning to him, and fawning and a deep, passionate love that she projects are two very, very different things. So this is possibly why, up until this point, Queen Amaya was extremely forgettable. So probably the strongest characters from Wish were definitely Valentino and Star. They provided the comic relief. However, although voiced by Alan Tudyk, who gave brilliant performances as King Candy and the Duke of Whistleton, his voice doesn't quite suit the cute little goat that we see in the film. Instead, I think something that would have been a little bit gentler would have suited him more. Because every time Valentino spoke, I was expecting Duke Whistleton to come dancing into the scene like a chicken and a peacock and a magnificent, elegant gazelle or whatever he says. It just didn't quite match up, and I think it was the same with the humour. Disney tried to make this a very humorous experience, but it just didn't come off that well. It felt more like it was a Sony production rather than a Disney production. I did love the chicken sequence. However, I don't think it suited Disney style, but that could just be me. So the inspiration for Wish was taken from the previous 61 Disney animated features. The production crew studied the back catalogue to create the iconic Disney look, using a combination of 3D effects and a visual 2D watercolour style for the background. The bold design choice is very similar to Sony's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. However, I personally felt that this particular style suited the comic book scenario of Miles Morales' story better. It seemed to have a smoother flow and a better consistency with the character. However, it is still worth applauding Disney for this, as there are some beautiful pieces of animation featured throughout. Another thing worth mentioning in Wish is hunting for the random Disney references. These were probably one of the highlights of the film, and they're good fun to spot when you see them. So you will see the more obvious Disney references like Aurora's dress and Kristoff's Lost in the Woods music video. But there are also random Easter eggs too, like Bambi, which threw me off completely. Okay, so let's talk about soundtrack, which I think is the crowning glory of Wish. Indeed, some of these songs have now become part of my all-time favourite Disney classics. And it may have been the reason why I splurged on this Funko Pop in the Disney sale. But look how cute that is. Look how cute Wish is. And I really love the detailing on Ash's hair. and I've been dying to show her to you on here for a while now. There you go, she's made her debut on YouTube. Look how pretty she is. So anyway, back to the soundtrack. It's, oh gosh, she fell over. Anyway, back to the soundtrack. So At All Costs is a beautiful and haunting and emotional performance sung by King Magnifico and Asher. And they speak of wanting to protect the wishes of Rosas, to keep them guarded, to look after them, to nurture them, to care for them. Not since Show Yourself from Frozen 2 has a Disney song made me stop, listen, and then instantly want to put the song back onto repeat again and again. And just like Let It Go, this was part of the original draft for Wish. But when the idea of Asher and Starboy was dropped, the production crew wanted to keep the song on and altered the chorus, which you can still listen to in the demo on the soundtrack. So instead of singing Promise as one does, the lyrics are Love you as one does. Another song that made me stand up and pay attention was Knowing What I Know Now, a song that pumps passion and originality into Wish. The dramatic vocals and drum beats cannot be faulted, for this is the moment when you truly believe that these characters, including King Magnifico's wife, are ready to inspire the country of Rosas, to stand up, to spark a revolution, and to take action against the king. It would have been fantastic for the rest of Wish to have matched the passion and determination that was shown in the latter part of the soundtrack, as this is where the film begins to come alive. The rest of the songs will appease Disney adults and most Disney fans and will leave you humming and singing along. It's not going to be another Frozen or another Moana where they're constantly being played of what can I say except you're welcome. It's not going to have anything like that, but they're good in their own right. So all in all, I would give Wish a 6 out of 10. It isn't the worst Disney film that I've seen, but for something that should have been such a classic, particularly in the celebration of the studio's 100th anniversary, it just didn't do what it should have done, which is a shame. But what did you think of Wish? Did you enjoy it? Or did you think it was wishful thinking of Disney to believe that they had another hit on their hands? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. Also, thank you so much for watching this review, and don't forget to please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. And for more Disney content, please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. So anyway, thank you so much, have an awesome day guys, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye! Bye!